All right, welcome everybody to GoGo Talks, brought to you by GoGoTix. Today we are joined by the one and only godson of GoGo himself, Frank Sirius slash Scooby slash, like 14 names. Um, Everybody that's over on Instagram, what's up, Corey? Head over to gogotix.co. That's gogotix.co. And just click on today's episode and click watch, and it'll take you right to the other side so you can see Scooby's face. Every other day, I've been saying you can see the other person's face, and they're more handsome than me, but I think I'm more handsome than Scooby. So
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do a handsome test.
that, I don't know, bro. I don't know. We might got to do a poll at the end of the joint, but like, who's more handsome?
There you go, with the glasses and the hats too.
All I'm gonna say is we're about the same age, but my beard is still all red.
Yeah, I'm having some great issues down there, but the ladies tell me they like it, so I'm gonna go with it.
There you go. There you go. That's what's up. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. I can dig it. I can dig it. So thanks for joining us today, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
So as you know, the purpose of this is there's multiple purposes. I want to get the stories out that most people don't tell, but also, there's a lot of sort of. Thank you, wife. My wife is reminding me to pin my comment here. There's a lot of like the TV One documentary coming. There's a lot of content about what GoGo has been and what it's meant to the culture of DC and just the music culture in general. But there aren't that many conversations around what's next and what the future is. And so, as you know, from knowing me for, I don't know, almost 30 years now, probably, that's always sort of been my agenda. So that's sort of the reason why I started this thing. It wasn't really meant to like turn into what it is, but it's been pretty damn cool so far. So I'm not complaining at all. So why don't we start off with why don't you just give everybody who doesn't know, sort of your backstory, like how you came up in the music industry and how that intersected with GoGo and all that.
Well, I started out even as young as 2 and 3 years old, just singing like around the house. My dad was a musician. He sang in doo-wop groups, older bands and stuff like that. So I was always around music. And when I was 9 years old, and my dad brought me for Christmas, I remember coming downstairs in this John Riggins shirt and some tighty whities.
Damn.
And go back to in the 80s.
I'm just surprised. I can't remember shit that happened yesterday. You remember that?
Yeah, I mean it was profound for me. So I got in, I got on the drums, and the first beat I hit was boom, chat, boom, boom, chat, boom, boom, chat, boom. Growing up in Southeast DC, I mean, that's all, every band, every corner had a band. Every school had go-go bands. We had battle of the bands all the time. Rex, it was go-go everywhere. So that's what I kind of grew up around. And I didn't really have the hip-hop and R&B heroes that a lot of other musicians say they had, or I didn't grow up in the church like that. So for me, go-go was my aspiration. And so I grew up around it. And when after I got that drum set, I started a band around the way with some guys that was a little bit older than me, friends to this day. And I've been in the go-go band ever since, man. After that, I got to high school, met some guys, Avil, who I knew from around the way, Penny, who we grew up together since we were knee high. And we started OP Tribe with I Can. And at that time, I was the man. I was the front line. I was the dancer, singer, rapper, everything.
Hey, that obviously trained you for later in life. I lost you.
My bad. So I had got a call.
We can still see you. Yeah. But make sure to put your phone on do not disturb or airplane mode or something like that. Otherwise, if people are calling you or texting you or whatever, it's going to interrupt the broadcast.
Yeah.
See, now that was in the email that we sent to you.
Yeah, but I don't look at emails, man. I don't even know how to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Hold on.
What kind of phone you got? An iPhone?
It's iPhone, yeah.
Yeah,
I see.
just go to settings. Yeah. So you
And
should
go to the moon.
Yeah, yep.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Half a moon.
There you
So
go.
yeah, so we got an OP
Well,
tribe.
wait a
And
minute though, because we still can't see you. Let me do this. I'm gonna take you out of the broadcast
okay.
and then just come back in and it should work.
All right, cool.
So I'm gonna take you out and just come back in. Use the same link. Okay, so sorry, we got a little technical difficulty with his side of the conversation here, but he's going to jump back in a second. So in the meantime, anybody that's on Instagram, head over to GoGoTix.co and just click on today's episode. What's up, Montu? How you feeling, man? Thanks for the mask, man. It's hot. Anybody that's over on Instagram, head over to GoGoTix.co, and we're gonna you just click on the watch button and take you to today's episode. So okay, so where were we? You were talking about starting OP Tribe with
Oh yeah.
and
So
you were the entire front line, and I was just saying that's trained you well for your trajectory in go-go.
Yeah, it gave me a lot of experience and a lot of different, you know what I mean? A lot of different I guess positions at the go-go in the go-go realm. So after OP Tribe, I was got in a singing group in high school at Easton and met Mike and Tuffy and Jason O. And that's when we started what turned out to be Listen. We were a singing group at first, got the band together, started playing at Tacoma Station, and took off from there. And that's how I became Listen. Then from Listen, joined Familiar Faces a couple times. Listen 2.0, Familiar Faces again. And recently I've been rocking with the Chuck Brown band ever since Chuck passed. And now I have my own band, Sirius Company, with Kim, John Williams, O, and the whole crew.
Gotcha. Okay, so I have to get something out of the way first. Oh, my man Brooks said, "Go guitar players unite." We got all go guitar players right now. So
there it is.
There's a rumor, and I need to know if it's true. Did you learn how to play guitar because I left OP Tribe and went to college in Montana? That
was part of it. It was part you and part Cali. We got Kevin California, who was playing. He played before you, right?
Yeah, he played before me. Yep.
Yeah. So when he left and went to Backyard, I had picked it up and started messing around. And he taught me like 2 chords. He taught me a bar minor and a bar major.
Yeah.
And then you came, and I was like, oh. And then after you left, it was like, I'm gonna go ahead and do it for real. You know what I mean? So I started playing, but I couldn't play with a pick. I was playing with a credit card.
Yeah. And that was still not till recently, because when I would book y'all at the casino, you still had the credit card then.
Yeah, I only been playing with a pick for about maybe a year and a half, 2 years. And
that's crazy.
I feel like I got way better in the last 2 years just from playing with a pick.
Okay, that's what's up.
I should have been stopped playing with that damn credit card.
Right. I think I gave you shit about it at one time. And you just like,
yeah. You gave me shit, but you wasn't trying to discourage me, but you still gave me a little shit about it.
Yeah.
You should have put your foot down, man. Like, guitar players don't do this, man.
But it was kind of like, it was also sort of like your signature thing. It was kind of like a cool little thing, you know what I'm saying? But if you feel like Chris from Create DC was talking about first Dave Cleveland said you don't read emails, and then Chris said reading is fundamental, Frankie. So everybody's frying you for not reading the email about the.
Hey man, I skim. I don't read. I skim through it and look at the important points. I just missed that one today.
That's why you need an assistant, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man,
take care of that.
I swear.
Take care of that for you. So okay, so I wanted to tell this Cali story though. I might have told it on Boosie Vegas episode, but I still remember. I didn't know. Remember when I brought y'all down to play with Occupation at the Colombian, and I still remember that put Cali on the list. This was my very first show that I ever promoted. And he put Cali on the list, and he brought some dude in and said, "Oh yeah, this Cali." And I didn't find out until probably like a year later when I actually met Cali that fucking dude was not Cali at all. So he is a shicey motherfucker. So yeah, so if you ever got a guest list given to you by Bootsy Vegas, you better make sure you get IDs and have him send the pictures of the people in advance, because he slid some janky dude in carrying a fucking something, the drum stand or something that wasn't even Cali. So anyway, watch out for that dude. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's not on here to talk
That
shit.
That sound like him though.
Yeah. So
like him.
all right. So just to slow down a little bit. So I remember when I was playing with OP Tribe, and it would be like, and listen, we would do the first couple of songs with the full front line, and then you know, two of the guys would go away, and it would just be you and Mike left. I think if I remember that correctly. And so, but that agenda was you guys were like trying to be Drew Hill or Jodeci or something like that, right? Like that was, and the go-go thing was just like a side thing, right?
Well, it wasn't a side thing. It was more so the other way around. But
separate,
yes, so to speak, yeah. But I mean, we wanted to bring the R&B to the go-go, and that's what OP Tribe. That was kind of the, you know, the yin and the yang of it. Like, okay, we know we crank, but for me and Mike, we just kind of felt like we weren't using all of our abilities. You know what I mean? And so when we got O in the band and Tuffy in the band, it was like, man, we was a full singing group in a go band, and E. You know what I mean? So we had E to really run the show and crank, and you had all four of us who can rap and sing and harmonize and all that kind of stuff. So it brought something different to the table as far as go-go, and that's what we kind of was aiming for.
Got you. Well, because I was under the understanding. I mean, obviously we were very young, so I could be wrong, but I for some reason I thought that Listen itself as just the R&B group was like trying to make it as like like a separate entity, right?
Right. Yeah. So we were a 4-man group before. You know, before all of that stuff. We was actually a 6-man group in high school, and then, you know, whittled down to 4. So, so we were a singing group. We went to Apollo a few times, won that. You know, we were doing shows around here in New York, Richmond, as a group, as, you know, playing with tracks. We was on the BET Soul Tour, where we went from everywhere between here and Chicago. And, you know, just as a group. And that was the whole time we was playing with OP Tribe.
Right. So that's sort of the parallel that I wanted to draw, because listen to you know, with OB Tribe, and then listen the singing group to listen the go-go band. What's the parallel between that and Frank Sirius, the solo R&B singer, irrespective, you know, separated from go-go, and now bringing the Frank Sirius moniker into Sirius and Company, the go-go band? Like, what was behind those decisions to say, okay, well, we're gonna, like, my original intent was to just be a straight up R&B singer or in an R&B group or a solo R&B singer, but now I'm gonna wrap that up into the go-go band thing. Like, what brought that decision on? Like, why did you decide to do that? Twice.
Well, I could say for me, I always been a go-go dude. You know what I mean? First. So with that said, I always felt like I can sing good enough to be an R&B singer. Right. So when Listen came about, we wanted to be, like you said, the next Boys to Men or whatever it was. And with, you know, with us being in a group, and my dad used to be in a group, I grew up literally listening to my dad in the basement, harmonizing 5-part harmonies, like the 5 Heartbeats or the Temptations. So I fell in love with harmonies. I fell in love with, you know, dynamics and vocal dynamics and those kind of things. So for me, I always wanted to be in a group. And to give you a quick story, when I was at OP Tribe, when I was 18, I had a publishing deal with a company called Rondor in New York. And Listen's manager at the time was a New Yorker that was working for Elektra Records as their marketing, whatever their marketing people it was. And so he tried to get us a deal with Elektra So we went up there. We spent, a couple of days. They put us in a nice fancy hotel. We went around singing for different executives and stuff like that. We came back home. I got a call to come back up and do some writing with Rondor. And as I'm up there, I said, "E, won't you ride with me?" I had E to go with me because, I was going to do some writing and I wanted him to be there. And anyway, we get up there. We go to Electra. We in the building and we on the elevator. And Sylvia Rome gets on the elevator. Right. She's the executive president of Electra.
Yep.
And, it surprised me. I'm up there like a deer in headlights and she knows my name. She say, "Oh, so you're Scooby?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She says, "Well, I heard you want a record deal." I said, "Absolutely. I would do anything for a record deal." She said, "Anything?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, I got a record deal upstairs for you right now under my desk. But it's a solo deal." Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh man, I can't go back to DC and tell these dudes I came up here and took a solo deal. You know what I mean? Like the way it would look, the way it make me feel. And at the time, me, Mike, Tuffy, and O were like literally best friends. We can finish each other's sentences. You know what I mean? So I just, I told her, let me think about it. I came home and ultimately told her, the president of Elektra Records, no, I don't want a record deal. And, came back. What I told her was I didn't want it without my guys. That's what I said. Mm-hmm. And, turns out from there, Listen started, we put out an album, Turning Point, which was our first album, like in 1999 or something like that. We shot a video. My brother, who, was big in real estate at the time, put a bunch of money behind us. And we shot our shot as a singing group. And it was crazy because right after that, like we went into like a little funk, maybe for like, I don't know, a year. We weren't singing, we weren't doing anything. And we was playing with OP Tribe. And that's how we all really got with OP Tribe. And then after that, Listen, we started playing at Tacoma Station as some kind of showcase, R&B showcase. We did that once with the tracks, hated it, didn't like it. Came back, we called some guys from Easton that played live instruments. Dwayne Thomas went to Easton, Samson played keyboards, Arvell played keyboards at Easton with us. Mm-hmm. And then we had some guys that we knew from Woodson who was all in summer band because we was all in a marching band together, which was Eric and Mark, the twins, and Alan, the trombone player. Mm-hmm. So we had a whole band from Easton and Woodson, and we went up to the station, man, and played. And we had probably about 5 people up there, sung. Next thing you know, some dude named Mahmoud Hilton, who was a promoter at Tacoma Station, was like, "Man, I like you guys, man. I want y'all to come up here on," I forgot what day of the week was, Thursday or Friday or something like that. "I want y'all to come up here, man. But at the end, y'all can put a little pocket, let the people dance a little bit, whatever." I say, "Man, I'm a go-go dude. Of course I can do a little pocket." Right. So that's how, and we called Peony from OP Tribe. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, man, we was off and running. Had a little thing up there, and we went from 5 people to not being able to get in that joint. And it's I'm sure I'm missing some parts of the story, but the gist of it is we've always had go-go. We've always been go-go guys, but we shot our shot with the R&B. It didn't work out the way we wanted, and we just kept plugging away at it. You know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, Listen happened, and we had probably one of the most historical runs in go-go history. You know what I mean? And we helped usher in. We didn't start the go-go grown and sexy go-go movement, but we helped push it along.
Big part of it, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, push it along. So, I don't regret anything, man. I love where I am today in my life. I just bought a brand new house. I mean, you see boxes everywhere. I got it. So, and I haven't really had a job or been, I haven't had to work for somebody else for, almost 20 years. That's because of the decisions I made, that happened to work out for me, for real.
Right. Yeah. So, okay. Well, that's what's up. So how about going from, so what sparked the Frank Sirius solo thing? And then what made you decide to roll that into another band?
Just honestly, man, egos and just having bad band stuff happen. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing with Listen, the 2 Listens split up, battling each other, going against your friends. it really put that kind of taste in my mouth where I didn't really want to have to do that no more. So I felt like if I was going to have something, I wanted to have something where my name was at the top of the marquee. You know what I mean? Where I felt like that whole, you know, group decision thing, it really don't work for bands, man. And so not for the bands I've been in, I'm gonna say that. So
No, it
for
doesn't. I
me,
mean, it's a recurring theme through even just this interview series. It doesn't
yeah,
work. Yeah,
yeah. And Listen had 13 people in it. You know what I mean? So you can imagine,
yeah.
13 strong, opinionated,
Jump
you
off.
know, a few alphas. It was just, it was a train wreck waiting to happen. And so when that happened, I really felt like let's give it a solo thing a shot. You turned it down a long time ago. Let's give it a shot. And I've been working. That's the key. It's about how you define success. For me, I
Right.
never define success about getting a record deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I don't know if you know the story behind Sunshine. The dude that had a record deal, who turned down the song Sunshine, nobody ever heard of him. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I can tell that story too. I
Yeah.
was
Go
writing
ahead.
songs.
Go
I was
ahead.
writing songs with a guy named Eric Parham, who seen us at Tacoma Station, who actually married Mahmoud Hilton's sister.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to hang out at Tacoma Station all the time. You heard I write songs and sing or whatever. He's like, man, why don't you come to the studio? I got some tracks I want you to write to. So he played this one joint. He was like, man, I was like, that's killing. I said, it had that like soul, that soul 1-2 feel, that like Philly feel.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called Uno. I was like, man, Uno, I'm about to go to my man's house. I want to write some songs. They got this kid named Sean Kane who's signed to Elektra, and he needs some songs. So we went over there, and at the time, my son was I was pregnant with my first son, and I had the idea to write a song about my son called Sunshine. So
Mm-hmm.
me and Uno put it together. It wasn't how it is now. It was more R&B ish, and we sent it up to New York to the dude Sean Kane, and he didn't like it. They sent it back. I don't know if it was him or his people or whatever. Anyway, they said never mind. We don't want that song. So Listen started playing it, and the first time we played it, people looking around, staring at us. Like, when y'all gonna play Anthony Hamilton or whatever? You know what I mean? When y'all gonna play Kanye? So some people in the band didn't even want to play it no more. Like, man, ain't nobody dance off that shit. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, let's keep playing it. Man, it got a message. I could see the people in the corner like feeling it. You know what I mean? They putting their hands up, but they don't. People scared to jump out there first. I said, trust me, it's gonna work. So we kept playing it. We kept playing it. We kept playing it. People started getting with it. Next thing you know, I had them in the palm of my hand, telling them to say whatever, do whatever, and so that's how it became
How
that
long did
song.
it take? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but how long did it
Mm-hmm.
take for you to beat it into people's heads and for them to really start to get it?
Well, for us, we was fortunate enough to be playing at that time 5-6 nights a week.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for us, playing it every night for 3 weeks, you got to think that's 15 shows
Yeah. Or
straight.
18.
You know what I mean? So yeah, so like the radio station, you hear something, you hate it at first. Next thing you know, it's in your head. You singing it with your kids. You know what I mean? So it was the same thing with that. I think for us as artists, we got to believe in ourselves, believe in our art, believe in our writing, and say, this is us. So I had to get to a point for myself where I had to stop writing for other people. You know what I mean? Writing or writing for the public, and just put myself on paper or on wax, on tape, on the computer, whatever, and make people feel like people buy people. They don't buy music, so to speak.
Well, so that
Stories, personalities.
sorry, you were cutting out for a second, so I thought you were done. Sorry about that. But that brings up a good point to me.
No, you good.
That like there's
Mm-hmm.
and even TJ said it from New Impressions said it a couple of days ago, and it's something that I
Mm-hmm.
that I've heard like some variation of over the last 25, 30 years. You got to play what the crowd wants to hear, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, my initial thing with Mambo Sauce was fuck that, just make hot shit, and then people will want to hear it. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's just like it's
Yeah,
like
of course.
and then not only do you have to make hot shit, but then you have to continue to push it. You know what I mean? Just like you said, like you're the hottest band in the city. It's you playing 5 nights a week, 6 nights a week, and it still takes 15 to 18 shows, but playing in front of the same people for them to start understanding
to get with it. Yeah.
Right. People give up too soon, I think. So when you're saying, okay, so when you're saying you stop writing for other people, you mean writing from yourself. You're talking about the content of what you're saying, not in terms of like you don't write for other people anymore. Or so do you still do that thing of publishing? Like, are you still writing for other people or no?
I'm available to write for whomever, especially GoGo bands. I think, we have to, the quality of the writing and the quality of the production has to get there. So in order for us to take the next step, you know what I mean? So I'm available to collaborate. I'm available to write for whatever band, whoever, you know what I mean? So I think that's a part of the conversation that, I've been wanting to have with everybody for real for the last couple of years, especially since this COVID stuff kind of hit. I on a fast track to get everybody and see that, if not now, like when, you know what I mean? Like we gotta pull it all together now, man.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you saw on the Instagram, the GoGoTix Instagram, maybe like 2 weeks ago or something. I posted a thing and I was like, "Dear GoGo, there's never been a better time to create some music." I'm just saying, you know what I mean? And like, what other time do you have? The excuse is always, "Oh, we play too much. We don't have time." Like, you got time, man. Do it.
Yeah, you got nothing but time, and you're gonna have some more time. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think we're gonna get back to until next year. So I think Sirius Company is kind of. I know I can control what I can control. So for us, man, we creating. You know what I mean? And even before this stuff hit, we put out the Christmas record that time of year. Got it attached to a movie soundtrack. Like you never know who's listening to what. You know what I mean? I say just keep creating. Yeah.
I fucking hate Christmas music, and I probably listened to that song like 15 times. I absolutely like every time a go-go band is like, "Yeah, we're putting out a Christmas song." I'm like, I just want to throw up a little bit in my mouth. Like I hate it. Like I guess we're just a Scrooge dude, but that joint was cranking like shit. I gotta say,
I appreciate it, man.
A good video with it too. Is good too. So tell us about Caliente and what's going on with that.
Caliente is a song that actually Shorty Corleone brought to us. That it was he was trying to get a part of a same movie soundtrack. No, I'm sorry, Angrily Ever After. That's another movie he was a part of. And he said, "Man, I want you and Kim on this record. I got it all. It's already together. All y'all gotta do is play and sing it." I said, "Cool." So we went to the studio, knocked it out in a day. And then, he was like, "Man, I want to shoot the video for it." When y'all down in Miami, we had a show in Miami last summer. He was like, "Man, when y'all down there, I'm gonna come down there and shoot a video." What better place to shoot a Caliente video than a hot ass Miami?
Right.
So he was like, "Cool, all right, you bring the cameras, we're gonna bring the outfits, and we're gonna get it done." And it ended up turning out, man, like amazing. Like I couldn't believe, what them little ass cameras they had, how it made it look like a real situation. You know what I mean? So
that shit on a phone now, almost.
Yeah,
like, it's not like back in the day where you need, $100,000 cameras and shit anymore.
Hey, 4K is 4K these days, baby.
Right.
Whether you get it from your phone or expensive ass camera. So.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So what is the goal of Sirius Company, and right now, like what's the agenda? Like what are you trying to
do? Just trying to get as much music out there as possible. My partner Daryl, we talk about it all the time. We just want to have so much product, that we kind of put out something every month over the next year. You know what I mean? So just as much 100% original product. And it ain't got to be 100% original. We got a couple covers that we already did, that we already covered in the studio that we're going to put out. So right now we got about 7 joints. So for the next 7 months, you can get a Sirius Company single. And we're going to try to do a video for every last one of them. You know what I mean? So just putting out content, building up your platform, building up your repertoire, And when you go to a show and you playing stuff that people want to hear, you can throw in a original, every 2 or 3 songs and get people used to hearing you. You know what I mean? Like I know back in the day when I went to see Junkyard, that was the only place in the world that I was going to hear Hee Haw or Rough It Off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless somebody covered it that was a national artist and wanted to hit Sardines or something like that.
Right.
But if I wanted to hear, the true form of Work the Walls, I had to go to the Black Hole and see Essence. And that's the kind of thing I want to create with all go-go bands. Everybody should have their identity. Everybody should have some sense of, pride in what they do. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, be yourself, build it, and they'll come. That's my thing. So that's what Sirius Comedy trying to do.
So, but when you say build it and they will come, like build it in DC or build it where?
I say build it both places, DC and abroad, like outside of DC. DC is unique to it's unique to any other place in the world. You know what I mean? For real, it's the only place that I've seen. I've been in a lot of places, especially in this country, where musicians can really make a living working 4, 5, 6, 7 nights a week. You know what I mean? Like we can really make a living if you get lucky enough to be a part of, that crowd where you're able to work and go, you get a 4 or 5 year run, you can really make some good money. And it depends on what you do with that money to, make sure you sustain your lifestyle. But unique in a sense, DC is unique in a sense that, we have a certain culture here that we all kind of got to placate or cater to, you know what I mean? And so that is the cover side of go-go. And it's been here since the beginning. So I'm not acting like something has changed where, Chuck wasn't hitting a bunch of covers or EU wasn't hitting a bunch of covers. Like it's always been bands that have been a lot more popular than I am have hit covers. So I'm not trying to get away from that. But at the same time, those bands I did name, Chuck, EU, especially Red Essence and Trouble Funk, have always had a serious catalog of original music. You know what I mean? Where they can play, Essence can play for 3-4 hours and do all their stuff going back to the 80s. So I think it's important, man, for us to just buckle down. Like like you said, we got time right now to buckle down and get some original.
Well, the reality is everybody had time before. They just chose to spend it in a different way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so and that's so that kind of brings me to my next question, which is what, like I've been asking some people on the other interviews, because obviously my whole thing is about the future of go-go, not about where it's been. We already all know where it's been. We already know what's happened before. What have Wale, Logic, Tabby, Shy Glizzy, Zan Man, Rico Nasty, Gold Link, what have they, IDK, what have they all figured out? Because all of them have been around for less than 10 years. You know what I'm saying? But they've all figured out how to expand themselves on a national and international level. Yeah. And what is it that they figured out that go-go hasn't figured out?
Well, I think a lot of it is the production. You know what I mean? As you can hear in Caliente, we kind of straddle the fence with national production versus the percussion that we so used to. And I think in order for you to get where you ain't been before, you gotta do some things you ain't never did. And for me, I just I know what I can do with some drums, rototons, congos, and cowbell and a microphone. Right? I know what I can do. I did want to venture and say, what would it sound like, or what would it feel like to be able to, do a go-go song in a national production process. You know what I mean? And so, and there's a lot of guys doing it. I love what Stomp doing. I love what Love from Raw and Images doing. Like them dudes, man, the sound that they able to get out the machines, like that's go-go. You know what I mean? And it's cranking. We just got to be able to put the right words and the right writing behind it to make it, popular. And with the proliferation of all of this hip hop and TV, and our culture is getting watered down. Like we not segregated from the watered down cultures of all over the world, from Jamaica to Cali to Texas to Florida. Like, we not isolated from none of that. Our culture is being watered down by TV, by Instagram, social media, whatever it is, because our kids are seeing what they think is popular, what will make them popular. When we was coming up, we didn't have a lot of cable. We had, MTV box or whatever, the box on MTV or whatever it was. And that was kind of the start of it. But for the most part, you can tell a dude from Annapolis and a dude from DC just by looking at him or hear him talk. Or you can tell a dude from Baltimore or, New York. Like, you can tell. Now, you put 5 dudes from each one of them cities in the same room, and it's gonna be hard for anybody to pick them up. Because, and I'm talking about youngins. I'm talking about the guys that's kind of being influenced by, the influencers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where we at. So our music is not isolated from that. So we in a fight. That's what I like to say. We in a fight of culture. I don't want to say culture vultures, because we're in a fight for our culture. That's what I should say.
So how do we flip that around to become the influencers?
Being cool. We got to get the kids together. Being cool. And
so
they are.
Can a bunch of us 40 and 50-year-old dudes be cool enough to get the kids on the same page?
My honest answer is probably no.
Okay.
I think we gotta get. I think that New Impression, Reaction, ABM, like them dudes, we got to get them dudes some records. You know what I mean? Because they are the ones that can literally save our music. You know what I mean? Because they in the clubs, at the buying bottles and in the VIP standing up on couches. But as they're in the clubs, they're dancing and moving around to, the stuff that the DJs are playing. So if the kids are dancing to TCB and TOB and New Impression and Reaction to those bands, then they are the cool ones. They become the guys that everybody looking at. Oh, that's them New Impression dudes. It's the same way when when Listen was coming along and we were in our 20s. It wasn't a club I couldn't go to and be like, oh, that's them Listen dudes. So they are in a position. They are in a position to influence the younger generation, and we got to get them some records. That's all we got to do. Get them some records and some exposure. You know what I mean? Video exposure. That would be my answer to what can we do for the future of the music. The short answer, actually.
Getting music from the young dude, or getting music to the young guys, songs, records, and then coupling that with video to get the exposure out. So that brings me to my next question, which I've asked a lot of people. I've asked Donnell Floyd, I asked TJ the other day. Does GoGo need a band? Does GoGo require a band?
No,
you have a band to be GoGo.
Nah, you don't need a band to be GoGo. I can be a solo GoGo artist right now if I wanted to. You know what I mean? I got guys that'll throw a track. All we need is a 4-bar loop. You know what I mean? Or 8-bar loop of a nice GoGo track, and we can make it do what it do. It's still gonna be GoGo. All of the rappers have showed us this. You know what I mean? From all the rappers you named, I mean, they all got a GoGo feel type of joint with them, and they've shown us the blueprint to have people at least listen to it. You know what I mean? But I don't want to get away. I also don't want to get away from, just giving people the raw. Like, throw on a backyard loop and write to it. You know what I mean? Just give backyard the credit. Like a real cranking ass backyard loop from '96 from the Ibex. You know what I mean? Find a 4-bar loop in a tape, run that joint back, make sure it's in time, put some chords and a bass line over it, write a song and put it out. Like it shouldn't be that hard. You know what I mean? Going into the studio, we haven't really figured that formula out yet. You know what I mean? So,
well, why? So yeah, I mean, because to me, it's in my opinion, it's because GoGo artists primarily treat GoGo as a hobby. Even the people that we could probably count on 2 hands the amount of people in the GoGo industry that make their full-time living in GoGo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so for everybody else, it's a hobby. And so the guys the Logics, the Wale's, the Shy Glizzies, those guys, they're not looking at that rap as a hobby. They're looking at it as like,
Nah.
this is my ticket. So I'm going to do what the fuck
Yeah.
I got to do to get, if I got to walk 5 miles to get somebody a cheesecake, I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But go-go dudes, man, I made $150 last night and 200 people came to see me. You can't tell me shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's been, that's part of the problem. If you want more, you got to do more. And we know how to get $150 at a club a week. We know how to do that. My thing is, let's challenge ourselves to man, you want to go be invited to the Grammys or get your own category at the Grammys. Like, none of this is far-fetched. It has to be done. You can't do it by, like you said, making it a hobby.
Well, I remember,
but I don't want to harbor on old stuff.
I'm sorry, you cut.
I mean, the future is what I'm focused on, man.
Right.
I was saying I don't want to harbor on old stuff. The future is what I'm focused on.
For sure. So talking about the Grammy thing, I remember when I first joined the Grammys, it was because Tom Goldfogle reached out to a bunch of people in the go-go community and had everybody come to an event where they were trying to get everybody to sign up to be a member of the Recording Academy. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but I remember in that meeting, they were talking about the amount of releases you needed per year to qualify as a genre. And I feel like I could be wrong on the numbers. It was like 800 releases or something like that. And we couldn't even get 8 releases that had come out in go-go. And I'm not talking about PA tapes. I'm talking about they have to be official releases,
releases
in the right way, with sound scan and an ISRC code and, all of those things. And so, we got a lot more work to do if we want to get to that level. So real quick, I want to Chris Birch had a question from Create DC. He's curious before we get too far along on another topic. He's from your honest opinion, what would have been wrong with taking the solo deal from Sylvia Rhone at Elektra if you could have demanded that the OP Tribe guys were he said the back line, so I assume he means your touring band. But I guess you weren't talking about OP Tribe, you were talking about the rest of the guys in Listen, right?
And Listen, that was but even if, that's a hypothetical at this point, but at 19, 20 years old, I'm not telling Elektra what I'm would do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I didn't really think about that. I felt that like it was a take it or leave it type of thing. And I made a decision. I talked to my dad about it. My dad, who was in the music business. I have another uncle, Pookie Hudson, who was, wrote over 1,000 songs, who wrote the song "Good Night, Sweetheart, Well, It's Times."
Oh,
that
wow.
was him and his group back in the 50s.
Nice.
Right. So that's my uncle. And so he the one looked over my publishing deal, told me, I talked to him about it. He was like, man, what does your heart tell you? And I did what my heart, I didn't do what my head said. I did what my heart said. And, I can't complain, man. I don't know where I would be if I took that deal.
For sure. No, I don't think he meant it in a like, why did you do that kind of way. I think he just like just trying to share with other people like what would what goes into that type of decision. You know what I'm saying? Like why would you decide one over the other kind of situation? But I totally understand. I remember when Huckabucks was the hot band and they came played in Annapolis at the Stanton Center and they asked me to play for them. And I was like, nah, I'm with Occupation. I'm staying with the band I came up with. You know what I mean? And I've turned down a couple of things myself, and it just depends on what your goal is. You know what I mean? So what do you think? I agree with you. I think that the problem, not the problem, but I think the solution in getting go-go outside of DC, which has always been my agenda, is a million songs.
Okay.
What is the roadblock to that like how can we, I think we know what the roadblock is. How can we get past that roadblock as a songwriter?
I think that it's gotta be more than just go-go bands. That's one part of it. I think we gotta have some go-go artists. Like, don't be scared to rap, sing, play over go-go music. And that's how we get it classified or characterized as go-go music. Like
Mhm.
reggae artists do it all the time. I hear, you know, go into any elevator and you're gonna hear reggae covers, you know, even jazz covers over reggae beats is considered a reggae song. So I think that, you know, we just got to keep plugging away at it and get more artists to do things over go-go music. And then, you know, the backbone of it has to be the go-go bands have to own it. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to be called a go-go musician. You know what I mean? Like, don't be ashamed of that, man. I see it all the time, especially with a lot of church dudes, you know, and just in jest. It ain't even like they even downing us or trying to down us, but you know, they get mad when, or they say, oh yeah, he just a go-go dude, he just a go-go singer.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Or
Like, dude,
what I like is I'm not just a go-go drummer, or I'm not just a go-go
right,
keyboard player. Like I can play more than that.
right. But ain't nobody gonna be mad, or they gonna play up to the fact that, oh yeah, that's Beyonce's drummer, right? So you ain't gonna just say, oh no, I'm not just Beyonce's drummer. You know, I'm such and such and such and such. Like it's okay to be an R&B drummer. It's okay to be a hip hop drummer. You know what I mean? Yeah, I play for Common, and that can be it. And that can be, they can stop right there. They're not gonna say, oh yeah, but you know, I'm a go-go drummer too. Like I want go-go to be looked at like a genre, like a real, you know, it's musical geniuses in go-go. Like it's, and we, just because we able to do other things doesn't mean that we're not go-go artists. You know what I mean? Chuck Brown was a go-go artist.
100%. And I think that's funny too, because if you really know people like that are in this industry. Like I think I told the story the other day. So forgive people that have been watching this series and heard me tell the same story a bunch of times. You know, RC and the Grits is my client, which is Erica Badu's band. So
Right.
I took them out here in LA, and the guy that was playing the MPC, and I keep forgetting his name, and it's terrible, but he's not a core member of the band. But it turns out I was talking to him out back of the studio, and it turns out that he was the guy that wrote or produced "On and On" for Erica Badu, right?
Oh
Pivotal
wow.
in my, you know, my musical upbringing, as I'm sure it was in yours and everybody that's probably watching.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know he damn near lost his mind when I told him I played for Northeast Groovers?
Oh yeah.
When I was in the studio in New York, when I was putting Mambo Sauce together, you know who Adam Deitch is?
Yeah, I heard his name before.
So for people that don't know, he's a drummer. He plays with a band called Lettuce, and Lettuce is the band that everybody had was upset because the Nationals chose to use. I think it was the Nationals chose to use their go-go song as opposed to like a real go-go band. But the real story is that he is a huge fan of go-go. You know what I'm saying? And literally, like 2 weeks or something after I met him in the studio, he was on the cover of Modern Drummer magazine. At the time, he was a touring drummer for Average White Band and a drummer for John Scofield, who's a preeminent jazz guitar player. So this guy's been playing in multiple genres at the highest level. You know what I'm saying? You know what he talked to me about the whole time we were in the studio?
Go-go.
Stomp Dog. Not even just not even just Northeast Groovers. Stomp Dog. That's all he talked to me about the whole time. They literally, these guys, I'm in New York and Quad Studios, the same studio where Tupac got shot, and they blamed it on me and started the whole beef with these guys that are touring with crazy national artists. Will smack there's a guitar player in there that will just like smash me 6 ways from Sunday, and they're looking at me like I'm the celebrity because I played in the go-go band.
Right.
So the reality is that musicians in other genres look up to go-go musicians, but go-go musicians look down on go-go them, even though they feel like, oh, I'm just playing this to make this money, but really I'm working on this, you know.
Right.
That's R&B stuff and all that. And I'm happy to hear you say that it wasn't really it was really go-go the whole time, because that was another thing with Mambo Sauce. Like, it was around Mambo Sauce was around the time you remember that there was a lot of bands being like, oh no, we're not really a go-go band, we're R&B, and they would sneak the congos in the back door.
Yeah, they're still doing that today.
I can't tell you how many shows I turned down for Mambo Sauce because they were like, well, you guys aren't a go-go band, right? No, yeah, we are. We're a go-go band. Yeah. So if you don't want to have a go-go band, then we don't need to play here. You know what I'm saying? I turned down a lot of shows because of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's encouraging for me to hear somebody else like take pride in it. Like if you stop looking at it like it's some, it's some like dirty little secret that you need to hide in your closet. Like it's literally the rest of the world. Anytime anybody hears about it, they're like, yo, that's the dopest shit I've ever seen, I've ever heard. You know what I mean? But I mean, in terms of the actual culture and the story around go-go, the thing we haven't perfected with go-go is the songs. And when you get the songs that can spread out to the rest of the world, then people can embrace the rest of the culture. But right now, we're too busy trying to please the same 300 people that come see us play at Tacoma Station every week, as opposed to realizing that there's a big, huge, wide world out there of people that love this shit. Like when Mambo Sauce, I mean, yeah, you came to some of the shows, like there was all people that look like me most of the time. Like, there's a large group of people that will react in a positive manner to go-go if you present it in the right way, and if you also have realistic expectations about what it's going to take to get it out there, because as well as I do that weekly money is like a drug, and that instant reaction to the cover song over a go-go beat, because the beat is the cheat code, is addictive. It's like a drug. It's like you can't get off of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that was the one that was the one biggest thing with Listen, because we started playing 3, 4, 5, 6, and then ultimately at one point we were playing 7 nights a week. 7 days a week for, I don't know, maybe over a year, and we only stopped and backed it back down because we couldn't really take it no more. But for a 3-year period, we were making over 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 a year. You know what I mean? Like, and so there are national artists that ain't making that kind of money. You know what I mean? So I can understand where at that point, and this is really, really the reason why Listen broke up, was the direction of what we wanted to be. You know what I mean? So for me and a lot of us, it was always a focus of ours to be, to try to go national and try to do things that we were bigger than what we were doing. And the other side of that argument was shit, we getting paid $7,500 here on Saturday, and I never forget this. We got invited to All-Star Weekend to play out in LA. The dude was like, man, I want to bring y'all out here to play for, people in Cali. It's a small club. I can't really pay you anything, but we'll take care of your flights and your hotels. And I'm like, shit, when we leaving? Right. And some of the band was like, man, we at Amazon on Saturday. Like, so I can understand $7,500. We was getting paid $7,500 every Saturday, and playing, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So, you know what I mean? So I can understand making, $40,000 in a week versus saying, let's take a couple of days and go to LA. But my other side was, we are making $40,000 a week. Like, you can take a weekend and go out and at least see what exactly, let's give us a shot. So for us, it just became a big riff, and like me, Tuffy, and O started taking shit. Like, we went out LA anyway. We went out LA, had a ball. We did a show in Miami, same thing. The band didn't want to go. So me, Tuffy, and O went down there as the group, and and did our thing down there and used the track. You know what I mean? We put a couple go-go songs on tracks and played for some kind of film festival that was down there. We got invited for, got paid like $500. We split up, the 3 of us. But it was the experience and being in front of, that's where I met the girl. What was the girl that was on the Jamie Foxx show? His girlfriend on there. Was it Gabrielle?
Gabrielle Union?
Anyway, no, not Gabrielle Union. The girl that she was on Jamie Foxx show. Anyway,
I don't think I watched an episode of that show, so I don't know.
Yeah, I booked her that night, and it was I thought I was doing something too. But she saw us playing, you know what I mean? She saw us playing as a go-go group or whatever we was doing. She saw us playing, and I got her number. I ain't got to call her. I was scared.
That is funny. I need to look her up now.
Damn, I can't think of her name. That's terrible.
Yeah, well, you should have called her, motherfucker.
Yeah, I know.
Well, so let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
The setup of Listen, what if you guys get paid $7,500 at Amazon on Saturday? Does that $7,500 get split evenly in the bank?
Yes, and the way the system that I kind of devised, it was percentage based. So the more we made, the more everybody made. Nobody was on a set pay.
Right.
And and I understand because when we started, we was working at Tacoma Station. Everybody was walking away with $40, and we would split it evenly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when we got to making that kind of money, I can understand why somebody would say, "Well, now we're making money. Why you feel like such and such should get more, such and such should get more?" And that's the balancing act. You got to try to. You can gamble at the beginning and make it one way, but we were young. We didn't know how it should be. But once we got older and realized, hey man, Ging ain't making the same thing as EB. You know what I mean? Or such and such. Funk ain't making the same as. So we had to kind of arrange it or rearrange it to fit what was fair. Mm-hmm. And fair is an operative word, subjective. But so for us, the way we kind of did it was, I said, okay, what was the lowest? We did a percentage base. 40% went to the front line. 60% went to the back line. And what we did was, whatever y'all split that 60% was, whether it ended up being $350 a man, all right, the front line is only going to take $350 a man because we know it's less of us. Mm-hmm. We only going to take $350 a man, and we're going to put the difference into the bank account. You know what I mean? A Listen bank account. So it worked. It worked. In my opinion, it worked. I mean, the band members was getting $400 a night. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We would take $400 a night, whatever it was, and we would put the rest in the bank. So when Listen split up, we had over $20,000 in the bank. You know what I mean?
So why didn't you take that $20,000 and fly the band to or pay the band the difference to go to LA? That's sort of what I was getting at was, if and I'm not saying because the way you said it is the way you set it up is better than the way most bands set it up. You know what I'm saying? But but the flip side of that, or what I'm saying is that I feel like the reason that people or that bands are not able to take advantage of certain opportunities is because they pay out all the money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
In a kitty, and so that you are able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand like there's a difference. Like there's a reason why national artists are national. It's because they took a shitload of lumps at the beginning. You know what I mean? And it doesn't seem like because go-go bands are so used to that weekly money, they're not willing to take any lumps at the beginning. So I think it's up to the leadership to say, okay, we're going to manage this money in such a way that, okay, Joe Blow, saxophone player, you don't want to go, you're not stepping out of the house for less than $200. Okay, that's fine. Well, then we're only paying out 50% of whatever comes in. The rest of the 50% is going in this account so that way when it comes time and we need to pay saxophone player $200, we can go do that. You know what I'm saying? So real quick, BJ, who is not following directions and is on Instagram instead of on YouTube where he should be. BJ and everybody that's on Instagram, please go to GoGoTix.co. It's pinned at the top, and click on today's episode and click watch. And then you can see Frank's not as handsome as my face and see what he's talking about. So BJ, I don't know what you're asking about. I don't know who he was talking about, multiple people. So come over to YouTube or come over to the website and you'll get onto YouTube, and then you can ask your question in the chat over there, and I'll put it up on the screen. So real quick, so Gospel Go-Go 411 says Garcelle. Well,
yes.
I don't know how you pronounce her last name. And then Brooke said, you met Francesca. Extremely jealous. Hold up, Brooke. He didn't meet Francesca. He booked Francesca.
I booked her.
And then he punked out and never even called her.
Man, intimidated, dog. Intimidated.
So, Gospel Go-Go 411, who I imagine is probably Curtis. I'm not 100% sure, but probably DK. He wants to know, what is the process to get you to write for bands?
Just hit me up, man. Y'all pay for the studio session, record whatever, or put the track together, send it to me. I can usually do a reference here at my house. I have a studio here. Get it back to you, and y'all freak it how y'all would any other cover y'all do. Like, I can put the whole song together, or I can give you an idea. Y'all can come up with the rest. Like, it's like, man, we open to everything. Like right now, we all in the same boat. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be looked at as no celebrity or some kind of genius writer or none of that. I'm trying to get a hit like you trying to get a hit. So let's put our heads together, pause, and make it work.
Oh, my bad. That's Delano. That's not DK. Sorry. Every time I see Gospel Go-Go anything, I just always DK because he's always. Oh, look, your good friend Bootsy Vegas is on here now. Finally, you're a little late.
Oh
there. Yeah. He's no. See, if you would have been on here, you would have known. He told the Sylvia Rome story like an hour ago. You're late. And we talked a whole bunch of shit about you too. So now you got to go back and watch the episode. Okay, let me get back on track here. Oh yeah, so you started a label or some kind of music business company with our mutual friend Daryl Brooks. I just talked to him actually before we got on to have him.
Oh yeah,
to have him come on. Tell us about that. What are you working on? What's the agenda there?
I don't know how much I can give away, but Sirius Company has.
You can, yeah.
I was telling you how many songs we have ready to go. So our plan is to put something out, every month, man, for the next 12 months to try to flood the market with as much material and as much product as we can. We have a few other bands that's already got stuff recorded. Actually, Sirius Company is one of the last bands in our clique, so to speak, to finish our project. So. And we waiting on Kim to finish her song. I'm gonna put it out there, put a little pressure on it. We waiting on you, Kim.
I feel like I heard this like a while ago. Like,
right. That probably was the last song. Like that was the last song. We on a whole new song now. So we waiting on her to finish her joint. Then we then we on to the next one. But yeah. So the plan is to try to put DC on some kind of map or some kind of trajectory where we can kind of control and make sure that we, giving it a kick in the ass. Because right now, we looked at as the little brother at the table, and if we want a big seat at the big table, we got to do the work, man. So Daryl has been kicking my ass every day.
BJ finally came over here and he said he finally followed directions for once. So now, an hour and 2 minutes in, BJ and Sally finally show up. Thank you guys. It's basically like a show. You know what I'm saying? Like half the band shows up late, like an hour late.
Man, par for the course. That's right.
But you were on time this time because you were late for the Crank Jam every week, but you were on time for this show. I gotta give you credit for that, man. That's what's up. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about why are people in GoGo late for every single fucking show? Why?
Just the culture of it all, of taking the fans for granted. I'm sorry I say that, but that's exactly what it is. Like at the end of the day, we act like they owe us to be there. You know what I mean? And it's once we get to a certain point, especially, we feel like we could just come. They're gonna be there. They ain't got nowhere to go. But I've been on the other side of it where, when OP tried, we were never late. With Listen, we were never late. Mm-hmm. This is really the first situation. Well, I got my bad habits started showing up in familiar faces. I blame Donnell Floyd.
I was gonna say, so you only became a slacker in your old age. I got it.
Man. Yeah. Donnell was always the first one there. But I mean, them Essence dudes, man, they was always late, man. Mickey, Bojack, Kim, the whole crew, all the Essence crew was always late to familiar faces show. So I fell in line. You know what I mean? That's my people.
Well, we're joking. But BJ said Lauryn Hill. we're joking, but at the same time, it really is a serious thing. I
It's a
think,
problem.
in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I ran a venue at the casino. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And very rarely were any of the people that get paid a shitload more than go-go bands, and also, this is their entire career. Very few of them were late. You know what I mean? I always talk
I
about Mint
think,
Condition. Like Mint Condition is like the heroes of every person in go-go, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mint Condition was not a minute late for any one thing that was on their day sheet at all. So my
Mm-hmm.
thing is that's Mint Condition. So who the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Not you, but
I
you.
got you.
So that's my thing. I just don't understand why, and I think that's really heavy what you said about taking the fans for granted.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good
And
look
it's
at the future of the
and
culture.
it and the thing is with the casino, I use that example. That's what you brought up. We're putting go-go bands. We're putting the same packed house in there as say Mint Condition, right? But we don't treat it as an appreciation kind of thing. Like I don't know. We look at the fans like it's just a part of the culture. Like they're a part of the go-go. They're gonna be there. We're gonna be there no matter when I get there. Where you got to treat it as they don't have to be there, and they can turn their backs on us at any given point. And somebody might look at you being late as saying, "Oh, he don't really care about this $20, or I just spent 40 to get in here, and this nigga come in here like he God,
Yeah.
or he come in here, at halftime or an hour late." So we definitely got to do better, man. I want to, I want to do better. I know my band, we need to do better.
All right. Well, I'm gonna make y'all some T-shirts that will say hashtag Be On Time, motherfucker. That's too long
Yeah,
on a T-shirt,
yeah.
but yeah,
It's too
man,
long of a hashtag.
me and you right now, we're stamping it right here. Me and Frank Sirius, Scooby Marshall are starting a movement for go-go bands to be on time. I'm gonna do a change.org petition and everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I bet you that if every go-go band made a commitment to show up to start exactly when they said that they were going to start, I bet you that everybody's business would go up by about 25.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was the one thing that promoters used to listen about. Like I ain't had it, because we had a thing where you got to be an hour early, right?
Yeah.
You can go sit in your car, you can go do whatever, talk to the people, but you got to be an hour early. That's report time. And we followed that for all the time that we were together. You know what I mean? So even when it was uncomfortable, we sitting around the dressing room and nobody likes each other, but we were there.
Yep.
So
All right, DJ and Dave, you hear what's coming. It's all you can
matter of fact, look, when we come back, we starting all new rules. I got new rules, man. We doing an hour early. No, I can't do my band like that because Kim in the band. We got to do at least a half an hour early for everybody.
Yeah, she's fairly notorious for her Lauren Hill-esque ways. But yeah, man. I mean but it's real though. Like it's serious. Like if you want it to be, I mean, it speaks to a greater problem to me. If you want to be taken seriously as a genre, if you want to be taken seriously as an art form,
just as an artist,
take yourself seriously, and you need to and like to me, I mean, there's a lot of conversation, and I talk about it a lot about about being professional and about original music, and obviously those are two very important things, and I get it. But what it really comes down to is having hot music. You know what I'm saying? But if you have hot music and you're professional, like you're out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
people want to book you, want to work with you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna want to book you. You know what I'm saying? All the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's about selling tickets. And the way that you're able to sell tickets is by being the hot shit on the street. And the way that you're the hot shit on the street is by putting out hot ass music. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a lot. But Chris wanted to make sure that you understood he wasn't being critical of you asking about why he didn't take the thing. He just said thanks for the honest response.
No problem.
Yeah, but all right, cool, man. Well, is there anything else you want to share about what you got coming up or what's going on or anything? Or
Man, it's a
Oh
whole
wait,
hell of a lot going on.
Dave. I'm sorry, Dave Cleveland said we got to plug the acoustic Sunday joints.
Acoustic Sundays this week with Sirius Company. You can look at it on YouTube. One GoGo World Live, onegogoworldlive.com. It's this Sunday. It's a whole hell of a lot of stuff we got coming up, man. We got a new record coming out. She Ready, featuring Kim, O, and myself. I got the gigs I'm in again to play, the GoGo musical that I'm doing in August. And seriously, man, we just trying to set the example, set the bar for for everybody to, man, just woman up to do what we got to do to make sure our music takes the next step. And also, I started a nonprofit called GoGo Music Collective. So I'm gonna be reaching out to a lot of guys and girls to kind of get an advisory board together so we can have some kind of representation in the realm of politics, because that's where a lot of the money is getting, a lot of resources getting spent to a lot of different other art forms and other arts organizations that don't have the name GoGo in it because we don't have the proper representation. So I'm heading this initiative, man, and I'm gonna be reaching out to a bunch of guys from all the top bands, all the bands around the city. I want an advisory board made up of everybody that's inclusive of all kinds of GoGo subgenres. So I'll be reaching out to you guys, man. See y'all soon. Follow me, Frank Sirius on Instagram, Frank Sirius on Facebook. Damn.
Yeah.
Frank Sirius, Sirius Music.
Serious. You better follow him or he's gonna start throwing shit all over the place.
I'm gonna start throwing shit. You know what I'm saying? Jump rope.
Pull the headphones out anyway.
Yeah, okay, man. But I appreciate you, man. I love what you're doing, man. I love this platform. Is able to, to come on here. You ain't asked me to sing. I ain't had to play my guitar. Hold on, I do want to say something. Hold on, real quick. I just unpacked this today. Hold on.
Do you think? He probably got a new guitar.
I'm the only person in GoGo history to win a whammy for vocalist of the year, singer of the year, and talker of the year.
Oh shit! There you go. There he is, my man. Congratulations, man. That's what's up. That's good shit.
Yeah, that's a little GoGo history fact.
There you go. All right, man. Yeah, thump your chest, bro. You deserve that, man. I mean, you still.
I had these made. My son makes them. It's like, I'm messing with you.
No, man, that's what's up. If you want to
shout out to the whammies.
If you want to get a preview of the acoustic joints, Dave was nice enough to send me the first one, and I did post it on GoGoTix YouTube page. So so the first one is up, and it sounds fucking great. Like I was like, man, this might be the future of GoGo right here, like acoustic shit. Like this is dope. And then did you see New Impressions? They did the joint in their basement too. They didn't even have it or anything. They were just, and it was tightish. I was like, man, I don't know, bro.
Man, that's what we need. People need them stories. Them stories, man. People need that. People need them personal kind of feelings.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. Well, listen, man, I'm gonna have you on again as well. And I really appreciate you taking the time today. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for checking it out. And we'll talk to you soon, Scooby. I appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, man. I hear your records. I'll see y'all soon. All
right, man. Later. Thanks, everybody, for checking it out. I appreciate it. Make sure you go get your wrong way. Sorry. Go get your GoGo is Fuck t-shirt right now to if you want to help support this movement here. GoGoTix.co/shop. Next week we'll be back Tuesday through Friday. And then starting in June, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to cut one day. So I'm gonna do Wednesday through Friday because this is a lot more work than I expected it to be. But thank you, Aggie. But I really appreciate everybody and your support, and thanks for tuning in. And once this is recorded and up again, over, I always get it mixed up. Over here should be where you can subscribe. And everybody that's watching right now, please just click below and subscribe, and then click above and click the little bell so that you get notified when new shows are coming up. And then when this is live over here, will be when this is up as an upload over there will be new episodes. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Have a good one.